Welcome to Art Unveiled, the podcast that digs into the hidden stories behind some of history's most intriguing art. Today, we're diving into a story where art met warfare, where confusion became a weapon, and where an artist transformed battlefields into canvases. When we think of camouflage, our minds usually go to blending in, right? Soldiers melting into forests, vehicles painted in muted greens and browns, the whole point is invisibility. But during the First World War, a radically different approach emerged. German U-boats were wreaking havoc on Allied shipping, and invisibility for massive ships was simply impossible. So, naval strategists and artists cooked up a startling solution: confusion as defense. This was the birth of Dazzle camouflage, a method that completely rejected concealment and, instead, embraced spectacle. Instead of disappearing, warships were transformed into vast, floating abstractions, designed to literally dazzle the eye with bold lines, sharp angles, and violent contrasts. And at the heart of this incredibly unlikely marriage of modern art and military science stood the British artist, Edward Wadsworth. Wadsworth, born in 1889, was a painter and wood engraver, celebrated for his bold geometric abstractions. He was a leading figure in the avant-garde movement called Vorticism. His prints and engravings captured the fractured energy of the modern world, much like the linocut medium that would later become a powerful form of modern printmaking. Both engraving and linocut are all about incision, cutting into a block, creating lines of resistance and release, carving meaning into a surface. So, it's really no accident that Wadsworth's eye was perfectly suited to the sharp geometries of Dazzle. In 1917, he was given an extraordinary commission to oversee the painting of over 2,000 ships in the bustling port of Liverpool. His task? To turn abstract art into military survival. The brilliance of Dazzle camouflage lay in its paradox. It didn't make a ship disappear, quite the opposite, it made the ship stand out. But in standing out, it utterly confused the enemy's perception. German submariners, relying on simple optical rangefinders to judge a vessel's speed, direction, and distance, found their calculations shattered by these disruptive patterns. Imagine zigzags obscuring the bow and stern, diagonal bands distorting perspective, and stark contrasts obliterating the familiar outlines of smokestacks and masts. The result wasn't invisibility, but rather indecipherability, an aesthetic of uncertainty that literally turned abstraction into defense. Just picture it for a moment: the port of Liverpool in 1917. Instead of uniform grey warships, the docks were crowded with colossal forms painted in violent geometries, ships transformed into floating canvases. For a casual observer, it must have seemed as if Cubism and Vorticism had suddenly taken over the entire harbour. What was, in fact, a matter of survival looked exactly like an open-air gallery of radical modern art. And in the final cut of the artist's block, we find the legacy of Dazzle carried forward. For artist Tony West, that legacy is shaped not by war, but by the sea. Having spent 2 years living on a boat in the Ionian, he knows firsthand how a storm can conceal as much as it reveals. He's created a linocut of a vessel seemingly swallowed by the waves, echoing the way a boat can be both present and hidden in the turmoil. In those moments of chaos, all fear is replaced by the singular purpose of survival. The shivers, he says, only arrive later when you're safely ashore. West's work is a powerful reminder that the art of confusion isn't just about tricking an enemy, it's about seeing truth in the lines of survival and finding a moment of clarity in the aftermath of the storm.